Welcome to the Startup Support Surgery podcast, where we light the entrepreneurial spark in medics and healthcare professionals. Join me, Dr. Jo Watkins, GP, business coach and co-founder of The How People, on a journey to discover where your medical know-how meets the business world. This will help you find some clarity on how to balance work, passions and family so that you can gain more freedom and control over your life, but also continue to help people, which is actually why most of us went into medicine to start with. Embarking on this entrepreneurial adventure is not easy. It is a roller coaster of emotions, but it's hugely rewarding and exciting in the process. Drawing on my 20 years of blending medicine and business as a GP, I am here to share experiences, insights and lessons. Expect lively chats, expert interviews and real-life stories from medics who have taken their own path. Let's break free from traditional healthcare norms and explore more innovative ways of making a real difference to people's health and well-being, along with paving the way for a brighter future for us as healthcare professionals. Oh, don't miss my free PDF called From Stethoscope to Startup, which is an 11-page guide in the show notes full of practical help and advice. This is your roadmap to kickstarting your journey with us. Enjoy the show. So, Tanya Lynch, I'm very excited to welcome you to the podcast. You're going to be a hot clinic seat for me today, which is when I get the opportunity to bring experts in their various fields into this podcast to have a chat with my audience, who are wonderful medics and healthcare professionals who are learning all about business, startups, things to do, things not to do. So welcome.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, honoured.
And we're actually in person together doing this, aren't we?
This.
Which is very exciting.
A good brainstorm.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself, Tanya, what you do and how you help people.
Okay, well, I have had a interesting career. I started in media, in radio, went into newspapers, press, social media, ran magazines, and it was a bore. But due to my colourful life, I was searching for something. So I set up a retreats business because I couldn't find the retreats I needed. The pandemic hit, and then I aligned myself with writers and creatives. And now I collaborate with experts and host retreats and therapeutic journaling programs.
Amazing. Fantastic. So we go back quite a long way, don't we? But over the last couple of years, we worked a lot together around your journaling program, and particularly you have been coming in monthly to talk to the medics and healthcare professionals. And I think from my point of view, there are two aspects to journaling with medics. One is about well-being and journaling. So tell us a little bit about how journaling can help us all, whether we are medics or whether in fact we want to support our patients in a different way. How can journaling help your well-being? What's it all about?
Well, it's been around for centuries. It's not new. It's like anything. When there's a buzzword around something, it's, oh gosh, that's a bit woo-woo. And I think it can get overcomplicated. There's three main reasons why people don't journal, and that's down to they think they've got no time. They are worried about what do they actually journal about. They've got blocks, their creative blocks, or their privacy. Someone is likely to pick up the journal. So it's not so much what is it about journaling for well-being. It's trying to get people to understand that it's something as basic as brushing our teeth. How important is brushing our teeth for us? And can you imagine not brushing your teeth? Journaling should be a non-negotiable well-being tool. So what I'm saying is that it can center us, it can calm our thoughts down, because rather than keeping it all up in our head, once we get it onto the page, it's almost like you're starting to have a dialogue with yourself. And I talk from experience because I recognize it in myself. I'm such a busy, quite a hyper individual that everything's going at such a speed. It's what I say now is that I journal so I can think.
That's pretty amazing. Have you actually seen and felt or witnessed outcomes where people have, started working with you maybe, and then by using journaling or by making journaling part of their routine, it's led them to feel better about themselves? Or
well, it's certainly boosted their health and well-being per se. You know, it's almost like, I think people are overcomplicating what journaling is about. When you meet anyone who really wants to be a writer or a runner, you know, in a marathon, they're like, I need all the kits, I need to be, you know, super fit. And it's like, you know, we were talking about earlier about this whole couch to 5K. It's all about giving yourself permission. There are no right or wrong rules for journaling, you know, and I think it's important with work I'm doing. I'm holding everybody's hand to just go, it's not rocket science. Let's go back to how we were as a child. Just play on the page. You can doodle, you can scribble, you, like I say, rage on a page. It's not so much what goes into journaling, it's having the consistent habit.
Okay, so it's a bit like anything. We need to be bringing it into our daily routine for it to have an impact. And we talk to our patients all the time, don't we, about exercise, about nutrition. And I think this concept of connection with yourself and others. And I think that's what journaling for me gives you, that opportunity to just like channel the emotion that you're feeling and getting that out of your head. I think that movement and that activity on its own, you can see how that will just create space for you to be a little bit, you know, more, I don't know, just more sort of present to how you're feeling and get that emotion out.
Well, one of the things I say to people now, even before they start to journal or open their journal, is to pause for thought. That is as much as an important part of the ritual, and it is a ritual, it is a practice, it is a habit, that to take a minute. And when people say, I haven't got a minute, I said, well, I tell you what, open the settings in your phone and show me the amount of time you've been on your phone already this morning. And it's cringeworthy because we were so automated. And the first thing we do in the morning is pick up our phone. Then we get into the slipstream of emails. Oh shit, you know, got to do this, that, and the other. And guaranteed you've already spent 30 to 40 minutes on your phone. So all I'm trying to do is get people that the first thing you do is actually, what I mean by pause for thought is close your eyes wherever you are. And you could be in the most busiest of scenarios in your household. You know, there's breakfast being made, there's lunch boxes. And I know you're sitting here going, are you kidding me? But it is possible to, you know, when we used to say, are you doing your glutes or your
pelvic floor? Well, the kettle boils.
Yeah. So there is that where you just center yourself, close your eyes and just, so, you know, open all your other senses. What can you smell? What can you hear? That is centering you into your present moment. And then to take another minute to start to journal, only even if it's one word. That's what I challenge everyone to do for the next 7 days. A minute to pause for thought and one word on the journal, in the journal, on the page. And that's it. Close your journal and go.
So one word, any word.
Yeah.
So give me an example of somebody that's had a good outcome from doing that one word. Is that really enough to be able to get that emotion off the page for us all?
I guarantee it you, because what I was saying is I had an oncologist, and it was one of the biggest things she was lacking was consistency. Such a busy mind, got to be in clinic, got aftercare, and she was getting very frustrated. And I said, okay, I'm not expecting you to write paragraphs, sentences, pages, morning pages, none of that. And I only want you to do one word and then stop. And she got even to day 6 and was like, yeah, but once I had my journal open, my word then became a sentence, because I was there in the moment, not being distracted by anything else. And I was letting the pen do the work.
Right. So we can all do that, right? Why aren't we? Yeah. Okay. Excellent. I love that. And that, I think, you know, listening to this, we're going to have doctors that are at all stages of their businesses or all stages of their life with children. But, you know, if we can all start doing this a little bit more, then we can start helping others as well. And I think we've all got patients that come in to see us. Often stress, time is having a massive impact on their physical health as well. So maybe just that takeaway, that actually just starting to journal with one word.
Well, have you heard of habit stacking?
Tell us about that.
Habit stacking is where you dual up with another good habit that you've got during the day. And I'll always go back to brushing your teeth. Mm-hmm. So even if they'll go, I haven't got a notebook when I'm brushing my teeth, I bet you your phone's with you. I bet you take your phone into your bathroom. So the habit stacking is every time you brush your teeth, You go into your notes section of your phone and you put your word in. Now, I am not an advocate for digital. I want to get everyone off that and onto a piece of paper. So I am always encouraging people to get a tiny little notebook that can go in the back pocket. So replace your phone with a notebook. And you will, because where are you putting all your items for a shopping list or something? You will find a scrap of paper and a pencil. So I would be, if someone challenged me now, what would you rather do, journal or brush your teeth? Every time I would journal and not brush my teeth.
You have terrible dental hygiene.
Well, but I know how good it's been for my mental health.
Yeah.
I would rather have dentures than, I'm not saying something.
I love that. Right. Okay. So let's move into this concept of content writing, because when we first used to talk about journaling, one of the things I see repeatedly over and over again is that medics who are running businesses, who are building that audience, establishing themselves as experts, building that credibility in their space, really struggle with social media. I start talking about email marketing and newsletters and they come out in a rash and they're like, oh my God, I've got nothing to say. I've got nothing to write. And we spoke a long time ago about this. And I think this has been key for some people. So how do we use, as business people, as people building credibility in audiences, how do we use journaling to help us with our content? And when I say content, I mean anything on social media, maybe website pages, regular newsletters, landing pages that we may put together for various offers that we get out there. How do we use journaling to help with that?
Okay, well, the question I would ask back to you, what does journaling mean to you? What do you think journaling is? So for someone like me who's borderline ADHD and I always need something a little bit different, something quick, expressive. I have created my own techniques on the fact is journaling can be mind mapping. Mm-hmm. Journaling can be a list of 100 things.
Right.
Journaling is framing the day. There is a micro movement. There is a sentence stem. So all these techniques that I teach are very, very quick and you can do them in less than 5 minutes. So let's just take mind mapping for a start. So whatever they want to talk about in their content, say, let's
say, for example, infertility. So somebody who's coaching and supporting somebody with infertility.
So the mind map is a circle, and then you'd have spider legs, streams coming off that topic. So infertility goes in the middle. And just to start off with, so that you don't get overwhelmed, you have 5 or 10 legs, and you have to find subheadings to infertility. So they will know, I can talk about this, this, this. And then off all subheadings, you can have another set of legs going, okay, so we'll break that down into even more subheadings. I guarantee you, before you know it, you'll have 30 descriptions on that mind map. That's your content for 30 days of the month.
Right. I see. So it's always giving you those headings, and then you can fit those into some sort of calendar.
Yeah, because it becomes really overwhelming,
Fantastic. What about this concept of like observation? So often people are sort of expecting to have, to be an expert, you need to get out there and you need to give sort of life-changing, scientific, double-blinded study, evidence-based stuff to our audience. And I keep saying to people, actually, there are other ways that we can help people. And I think, when you're in business, you are actually putting yourself out there, and people need to kind of get to know you as well. And people struggle with that more like observing rather than actually teaching. How can we sort of go about maybe pulling together information about our day and journaling? Do you do that sort of in the evening, or how would you go about?
Well, there is a technique that's called framing of the day. Right. So in the morning, it doesn't have to be first thing. A lot of people think journaling should be first, 6 a.m., like I'm going to stretch, do yoga with the sunrise. You've got a few hours before it's lunchtime. So start with a minute, 2 minutes, like I said, about that word of the day. And maybe you'll have a goal, maybe you'll have an affirmation. Start writing about, what do I need to achieve today? What is the one subject matter I'm really going to research or think about regarding some of my content? And that's it, just a couple of minutes. And then the second part is at the end of the day, and you're reflecting. So if you had set out your goal to go, right, I really want to concentrate on this element of content, did you do it? If you didn't, why didn't you do it? And are you going to set it for the next day? So that you're actually becoming your own accountability buddy just by doing 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes in the evening, And you'll see a pattern. If you did this for 7 to 14 days and you're saying at the end of the day, I didn't approach the content that I was going to write, or, what did I capture with a client? And there's a good case study and I've already forgotten about it, because we're all busy people, especially if you're still working in clinic day to day and you're trying to set up your business. It's gone. And that was gold.
Yeah.
So he's trying to document that, but it doesn't have to be him and verse. It's bullet points.
That's good to know, because the bullet points, I think, is something that we can all achieve, and it's expanding on those, isn't it? But like you mentioned about using the notes section of your phone, which, as you know, I do that a lot, but actually taking it off that and the action of getting those words on the paper with a pen is really important as well, isn't it?
Well, they all think I've gone mad because I've said that I've got into a stage now, because I use the right journaling tools. Whether or not you're into yoga, don't tell me that you don't like a really nice yoga mat. If you're going to yoga 3 times a week, you're going to invest in a good yoga mat, because you're on it pretty, for a while. So I'm the same with pen and paper. So I've invested in a Cow Echo ink pen. It's a German brand. It's tiny when you look at it, but it's what I call a fast writing pen. So my thoughts, when people are trying to use a pen, twist it. When they're trying to use a pen, they're probably using a Bic. Now, if there's anybody out there who is environmentally friendly, Bic is a great invention way back, but it's plastic, it's going into landfill. So if you can go back to the 80s where fountain pens were all the rage, we have got some amazing pens on the market now. And what I was talking about, when you get a fast flowing ink pen, it almost becomes hypnotic. I have actually, when they talk about when they're on the golf course and all they can think about is hitting the ball, I have got into a state of mind where I'm with my pen, I'm letting the pen do the work, and I'm almost going with the ink. So I feel it go through the pen, through my hands, through the pen, onto the page. Honestly, I am in a trance when I'm writing.
It's absolutely beautiful. I've actually got one in my hand right now and it is gorgeous. And the thing I'm loving the most about it is that you take it down and you've got one of those little cartridges that takes me right back to 1983.
Yeah, we do it.
I love it.
But they're now creating it fountain pens where they're even removing the cartridge, because that's plastic.
Right.
And it's almost like a blotting paper,
right,
and it soaks up the ink.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah, fascinating.
Excellent. Right. So we've got we've talked a little bit about 3 things that I want to discuss. One of them is journaling for our own well-being as doctors, busy medics, making time for it ourselves. You've given us some great tips for that. The second is talking to our patients about it. More and more we are seeing the impact of these small changes on our patients and needing to be able to offer alternatives than, the westernized medicine that we've been encouraged to be able to be the only thing that we can do in our 5 to 10 minute consultations. So that's really important. And then we've covered this whole concept of using journaling to create your content. And I love that idea of the mind map, because I think quite often just finding those ideas to sort of put things underneath is really important. So get that mind map, get that big piece of paper and start trying to find those titles that you can journal under. So thank you very much. That's been really, really helpful. How do people find out more about you, and what have you got out there that our audience can get from you? And please feel free to share your Instagram or whatever.
Thank you. So you can find me on Instagram at Ease Retreats. Mm-hmm. I also write on Substack, which is I have a daily newsletter, and I usually blend it with what's going on day to day with my retreats company, and then some top tips about journaling. There's usually some, back to basics if you're a real newbie. And I have actually done some stuff on medics. I think I did 2 newsletters on that. So, anybody who's interested, I can signpost them to those posts. And I have done some PDFs, so they can contact you. They can have those as downloadable. So it's kind of like a start, like a count to 5K of journaling with some prompts that they can do over 7 days.
Maybe we'll link those in the show notes below so that they can have access to those. Yeah. And you also have a program, is that right?
Yes, I run an 8-week program called Rage on a Page, and it helps practically anybody who wants to learn how to channel their emotions into something more positive and creative through the practice of therapeutic journaling. And then I've got a weekly journaling club that happens on a Thursday at 1:00, and it's basically a gentle guided journaling session with some lovely people.
Fantastic. So the weekly journaling club is really for everybody. The Rage on a Page program. I noticed you've had a few sort of cohorts of that where you've had people that are really struggling with cancer treatment and divorce and big midlife events going on there. And that's really helping them as well.
Oh, the transformations have been amazing. Like this one oncologist, she was moved from a hospital that she was getting bullied at. She wanted to go back to India to set up her own hospital, and she was just blocked. She was frustrated, and her self-esteem was on the floor, and she knew she had to have some form of therapy. She chose Rage on a Page, and it has changed her life. She's going to go back next year to India. She's got a plan, and she doesn't think she'll ever not journal.
Amazing. Well, it's been a real honour to speak to you. Thank you so much, and we will keep in touch. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope this episode has sparked some new ideas or challenged your thinking. Transitioning from medicine to business is not easy. It's about adapting our skills while embracing the unknowns of entrepreneurship. It can be nerve-wracking, but remember, you are not alone on this journey. Please feel free to reach out to me via direct message on LinkedIn or Instagram, or just shoot me an email at joe@bendylegs.com for support. And don't forget to grab the free PDF from the show notes, From Stethoscope to Startup, which is your go-to guide and resource for diving into entrepreneurship. Many thanks for tuning in. I will see you next time. Thanks for spending your precious time with me.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.